Okay, we'll dedicate the shir to Sarah Bas Avram, to my other Gemara. And we thank Hashem that we're able to learn. And it's another Gemara. And because of our learning, we should have the base of Mikdash immediately in our first name of Yechiel Nasim ben Sarah and Aaron David Alevi ben Menucha the Lester. I think we're on Yudam and Aleph on the top. We're up to Eretz Yisrael? No, we're up to Amar Mar. Amar Mar. Amar Mar is 3 lines from the wide lines. Amar Mar, the master taught. Who's the master? It says, Mamtikin him ba'avim. This is Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says that the water comes from the oceans. So how could it come from the oceans? The oceans are salty water. Salty water is not good for the soil. It says, oh, don't worry about that. It gets sweetened by the clouds. So, Minale, where do we know this from? It's a funny question to me. When you go taste it. Oh, no, that's not what it's saying. It's saying, how do you know that it's the clouds that sweeten it? Yeah, we know that it gets sweet later. The question is, what's the mechanism for that? So, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, familiar with Rabbi Yochanan. Ksiv cheshchas mayim avishchakim. Maybe it's the Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak is a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan. The Stam Rabbi Yitzchak is a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan. Maybe usually it doesn't say his father's name. Cheshchas mayim avishchakim. The darkness of the water. It's the thick clouds. I guess that means that the dark clouds has a lot of water. And cheshras mayim avishchakim. The gathering of the water is the thick clouds. So what it says is like this. Shkol kaf v'shadi aresh. Money. Take the kaf from cheshchas and put it in the word cheshras. And then you have together, you have chachsharas. Hachsharas. But you switch the ches for a hey. And then you're left with hachsharas. Yeah, we've switched cheses in his before. In brachos we had kodesh hilulim. We translated to chilulim. So yeah, we can do that. So what we hear is hachsharas means to make suitable, to prepare, to make it usable. Follow? So what we're doing is, what's making the water usable is the clouds, right? Hachsharas mayim is the clouds. That's our source for this. Okay, this is a classic difference between Shmuel Beis and Tehillim. Remember, in Tehillim we have Migdal. I forget which one. Migdal, yeah. Magdal Yeshuis Malka is in Tehillim, and in Shmuel Beis it's Migdal Yeshuis Malka. That's where they claim. I think it's the Torah Tamima that says that instead of we say b'Shabbos Imrim, it's supposed to be b'Shmuel. It's supposed to be Shmuel Aleph, b'Shmuel Imrim instead of b'Shabbos Imrim. Yeah, it's the acronym got confused. Okay, whatever the case is, you follow that mistake. If it's a mistake, no, it's the abbreviation. Why do we say on Shabbos Migdal Yeshuis Malka? Because in the benching, because they wrote by Migdal, it said Magdal, and they wrote B'Shmuel Beis or B'Shmuel Beis Isa. Migdal. So they switched it to b'Shabbos Ayim. They thought it meant b'Shabbos Ayim. And yeah. L'cheira, Klal Yisrael doesn't make those mistakes. A printer somewhere. Okay. Rabbi Yeshua b'Hanikroi my darshibu. what does Rabbi Yeshua do with those psukim? Because Rabbi Yeshua says the water starts in the clouds, right? Well, not in the clouds, starts in the heavens. And he doesn't need the ocean water to be desalinated. Sabala kiha d'chiyasa Rabdimi Amar Amri b'Marava. He learns it when Ravdimi came. He said over what it said in Marava. Ravdimi was one of the travelers, like Ravin and Ula. Ula's the famous one. Ravdimi as well. And he says that Nahar Anani, if the clouds are bright, that means thin clouds, the Irimui is a little bit of water. Chashay Hanani, if the clouds are dark, Sagimui, then there's a lot of water. So he's learning that pasuk of Cheshchas, the darkened clouds tell me how much water there's going to be. Okay. According to which opinion does it go? By the way, I guess it's today's Yutas Kislev. The Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, where Rabbi Eliezer says B'tishrei Nivra Ha'olam. He's also the one that says that the waters start on the ground. Water start on the ground, which is the Isarusa de la Sata, as opposed to the Nisan, which is the Isarusa de Leila. That's how it's always divided. Yeah, so that's Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua would be the Isarusa de Leila, that it starts in the heaven, like you mentioned yesterday. But it fits with it says, yeah.
I heard the idea that Yutas Kislev is a third month. So just like Sivan is a third month from Nisan, giving of the Torah, like giving a Torah of Hasidus.
And how does that fit with the Sarusa de la Sata?
Yeah, I think it fits. Yeah, like it came from the Alter Rabbi. Right?
Yeah, it has to do with affecting the yeah, but that doesn't mean it's still a Sata. Okay. Kama nazla hadatanya mayim al yoinim b'maimerhim tluyim u'periseim megishamim. There's a brisa that says that the upper waters are dependent on Hashem's voice, Hashem's speech, and they're controlled by Hashem. And the fruits of the upper waters is the rain. Now, explained over here in this commentary that it doesn't lose. The upper waters drop water, but it doesn't lose. It's like the fruits that the tree's still there. The fruits of your actions, the earth becomes nourished. Come on, who does that go? Like Rabbi Yeshua, that follows Rabbi Yeshua, because Rabbi Yeshua says that the waters start in the heavens. For Rabbi Eliezer, what does he do with this? Doesn't say that it's the heavens. It says could be the ground as well. The runoff water of Gan Eden supplies the rest of the world. The river comes out of Eden. Okay. Tana was taught in a brisa. The measurements here is that a base core is an area, a field that you can plant 30 sa of grain. They would measure land based on buckets of grain. So yeah, how much seed you would need for such an area.
That's what they did, I think, with the Shvatim. I think with
could be. So the runoff of a base core, the water that you need for a base core, could supply a tarkev. Tarkev is tray and kav, which is 2 + 1, 3 sa, 3 kav. Now a sa is 6 kav. A base core is 30 kav. So basically, just simply a tarkev is half a sa, so it's 1/60. A base core is 30, and this is half, so it's A base course is 60 times the target. We're saying is that 1/60th, that it can be nourished from 1/60th of the larger amount. Taner Rabbanon, started in the Brisa, it's Mitzrayim, have a daled meis parsa, daled meis parsa. The land of Egypt is 400 parsa by 400 parsa. V'echad mishishim b'kush, and it's only 1/60th of Kush. Kush is Nubia, right? Nubia is Ethiopia, the land south of Egypt. South of Egypt, Nubia is Ethiopia. Okay. Unless they switched it. In my history class, that's what it was.
Does Zal ever go into the fact that certain areas around the globe get more rainfall than other areas? Or do they just talk about specifically areas?
No, we'll see a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. Kush echad mishishim ba'olam, and Kush is 1/60th of the world. Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to measure that. The landmass. Okay. What is the landmass? Okay.
There's a little.
I was figuring it out now. Va'olam echad mishishim began. The world is 1/60th of the garden. The gan echad mishishim la'eden. And the garden is 1/60th of Eden. It divides it up in the Gemara that there's Gan L'chud and Eden L'chud. There's two separate things. Usually we say Gan Eden, but the Gemara divides it. The Eden is Echad Misamach LeGehenim. And Eden is 1/60th of Gehenim. Gehenim must be very large. Nimtza Kalam Kula Kikisa Kader LeGehenim. Turns out that the whole, what do you have there? It's off by a little. Okay. Rough estimate. The whole world is like a pot. Yeah, if you subtract America, it's accurate.
The known world.
Oh.
Yeah.
America doesn't count.
Even so, it's pretty impressive.
Who was the Greek? There was a Greek philosopher or scientist, whatever they called him then, that he had a stick. He said, with this stick, I could measure the whole earth based on the shadow that he got from, I forget who it was. One of the famous.
Yeah, that's what they did, I think, in Egypt.
Yeah, he got it from the pyramids.
Yeah,
he saw
the two statues, and they were able to measure the circumference of
because of the curvature of the. You could see. What was it?
Pythagoras.
It was Pythagoras. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it was Pythagoras.
Wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ramesh is asking a question. How could Gehenim be bigger than Gan Eden? Shouldn't Mida Taiva be greater than Mida Pranas? V'yeshem Gehenim ein le'shir. V'yeshem Eden ein le'shir. So that means even before Gehenim, there's no measurement. Amar Abaishya Maidiksiv Shechenes al Mayim Rabim Rabbas Eitzaris. It lays on many waters and great is its storage houses, like abundant storage. Mi garam lebavel shi'u eitzriseh malei espar. What causes Babylonia that the storage houses should be filled with grain? It's because of the rivers that it lies. It's Babylonia is Mesopotamia. It's between the two rivers. Amarav, Rav says, Atira Bavel. Bavel is rich. The Chatzta B'lei Mitra. Because it gives produce without rain. Because of the rivers, similar to what Egypt, right? Egypt. They called Egypt the breadbasket of that area because but apparently Babel had the similar.
How come Babel fell? Why did it cease being such a civilization?
What, today?
They didn't have the oil. Yeah.
I mean, Egypt, we know why they
Yeah, so it went.
well, they went after the Jews. And
Oh, you're saying spiritually.
Because the Jews left, they went back to.
No, they it ended up becoming Persia, which was a great empire, and then Greece took over. Alexander, fought with Persia, and then it became just like Greece. It became what they call them, the Seleucids, or something. Yeah. So, and then it became Rome, and then Rome lost it. So it's the story of the. Right.
I think they were always culturally Persian. They never fully adopted Greek, like the Greek culture. That's why it was a separate empire.
Okay, Amar Rabbi and Aktin and Tivani v'lo Yivshani. Yuvashni. How to pronounce it. Abaya says it's better to be swampy than to be dry. He's talking about Bavel, that how good it is that they have the two rivers there. Yeah.
Swampy Babylonia is, it's between the rivers, it's swampy. It's not like
right.
It is like Egypt.
Right. The water in Florida, the Silver Spring, that comes because the water on both sides, is that what it has to do with? Push it because of it's a peninsula. Over there, I don't know if it's the water that's coming from under. I think they actually built what's it called, canals or tributaries to water the fields. The Gemara tells us one of the rivers was lower. I think it says the Tigris. It says where did you throw the dangerous things? It doesn't say you threw it into the Euphrates, the broken glass or thorns or something. You threw it into the Tigris. Yeah, well, no one would go in the Tigris. I think it was harder to get down. And the Euphrates, I think, was easy. Anyway, whatever. Mishnah. When do we ask for rain? On the 3rd of Cheshvan. That's the Tanakama. We were talking before about mentioning rain. That's Mashav Rachmer de Geshem. Now it's V'sein Talamat Levracha. Right? Gimel Mar Cheshvan. Rabbi Gamliel Emer B'Shivabay. Gamliel says on the 7th, which is Tesvav Yom Achar Chag, 15 days after the holiday. Yeah. 8 days. I guess it's over Chaf days, right? They reached the Euphrates. So, Reb Daniel, we spoke about this before. Were they going all the way into Bavel? We were waiting for them to get all the way home. Apparently, we just waited for them to get to the Euphrates. And then the question is, what route we're referring to? Because the Euphrates goes over Israel also. It goes north, right? And then it's also west. It's also east of Israel, right? So you have a map over there. Yeah, so are they going up and then traveling along? Or are they just traveling through the desert?
There's a map here.
They would welcome it.
Travelers in the desert would welcome a little bit of rain.
Yeah, the Euphrates goes north. Yes, the question is, did it mean they traveled straight across, or did it mean they traveled up and then I don't know.
Yeah, a map here shows they went under the Dead Sea, further south, and then went across.
Oh.
To the Euphrates.
Okay. Oh, there's. Oh, so over here he has different routes that they would take. Emissary route and the pilgrim's route. The pilgrim's route, he says they actually went north. And so that would be a shorter distance to the Euphrates, to get to the Euphrates. as opposed to the Euphrates was much further away. You want to see that?
I know.
Oh, you know the map. You're on the plane every day.
Yeah,
Okay. I had one friend in school. He knew the map. How do you know the map so? He says, I play Risk. Okay. Amar Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar says, Halacha Rabbi Gamliel. The halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel. It says on the 7th of Cheshvan is when you start asking for rain. Tanya was taught in the Brayse. Chananya says, B'goyla Shishim B'tkufa, on the 60th day from the what's it called? Equinox. The 60th day from the Tkufa, from the season. Amar Rav Huna Bar Chia, Amar Shmuel, halacha kechananya. Halacha is like Chananya. That's what we do in exile. Aini, is that so? That Shmuel says that the halacha is like Chananya. But we even asked Shmuel, when do you start to say V'sein Talamata? When the wood is brought in to the house of Tavus. Sounds like his name. And Rishpa is a bird catcher. When the wood is brought into his house, I guess that's what they did in Nardoi. So we're assuming that that's a different time than 60 days from the, I don't know when that is, but the Gemara answers, tell me, how do you know that's a different time? Maybe that's exactly 60 days. That's when they would bring the wood in. They would chop wood and then they would dry it and then they bring it in. Yom Shishim Kalifnei Shishim, Achar Shishim. The 60th day is what? Is that part of it or is it not part of it? Do you wait to after 60 or you wait until 60 and then you start at 60? Tashema, we have a Bryce. And that's not a Bryce, it's a statement of Amiraim. Usually it would be Itmar, but because it's being brought as a support, so it's Tashema. Rav Amar Yom Shishim Kalachar Shishim, Shmuel Amar Yom Shishim Kalifnei Shishim. It's machlokes. Rav says that the 60th day, you already start asking for rain. It's like after 60. It's up until 60. Then from 60 on, you ask. Shmuel says that Shishim is like before, is when you don't ask for rain. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Nachman Yitzchak says, "V'simanach iloi ba'imaya tatoi loi ba'imaya." Rav needs the water. He's asking a day earlier. So what's the pshat Eloi, the one above? So it could be that Rav came from Eretz Yisrael, and that's what we're saying, that he's considered above. Or it could be that Rav is just considered Rav, the great, the one on top. He needs the water. If you have the other girsa, it fits even better. Rabbeinu Chananel's girsa, I don't know if you can see Rabbeinu Chananel towards the bottom of the page. He says, Rav Amar Kilifnei Samach. Rav says the opposite. And Shmuel Amar Kila'acher Samach. Shmuel says that up until. Now this is very interesting because then V'simanach Eloi Ba'yimai and the Rabbeinu Chananel Tatoy Pirsh Nardoi Yasri de Shmuel. Nardoi, which is north. That's the upper part. They're asking for the water. Surah, which is the area of Rav, which is lower, they don't need the water. They get all the water collected over there. Surah is what's it called? The like near the Gulf. Kuwait.
Delta.
Yeah, the Delta. Yeah. They don't need the water the way the people are up high. Because the water flows down.
It's awfully presumptuous to think that we're going to down with the rain. So, boom, when are you going to pop down?
We had this person, Reb Daniel Bar Katina. He walked through the field. He would say, this one needs rain, this one doesn't, this one needs rain, this one doesn't. And then the rain would come specifically on that. Yeah, how do you get back home? Because he walked between the raindrops.
And there's this beautiful idea, right? That even though it didn't rain so much, they would wait for that Jew who needed to cross It's like a real, like
Right.
Ahavas Yisrael, like Mesiras Nefesh.
Right.
Aren't we davening for?
Yeah.
What do you say?
He said that even though we needed the rain, but we waited for the one Jew that needed to get back to Nahar Pras.
I understand that, but again, that's the whole point. Do we really believe that as soon as we ask for rain, it's going to rain on him? Like it's going to happen that quick? That's the whole thing. But the other thing is, aren't we davening for rain in Eretz Yisrael? Not davening for rain in South Africa.
No, every place is davening for its needs.
So every place is davening for itself.
Yeah.
So then the Jews of Eretz Yisrael can stay right away.
Yeah.
While the
So it turns out,
2 weeks later.
right. But it turns out that there's a discussion about this. If we say you wait until the 7th of Cheshvan, you wait until the Tkufa. What everywhere else is supposed to be doing? Is it should everyone else have their own times, or if it's not Bavel, basically it's the people traveling to Bavel had the issue that they had to wait. Maybe if it's not Bavel in America, no one's going back to the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe you should start right away. No one's going being Oila Regel to. And if you go by plane, yeah, you're fine. You're above the clouds. Turbulence.
With Babel had to do with the harvest being later, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Rabbi Naftali is saying that we anyways don't have to wait because of the Beis Hamikdash. It's after the Beis Hamikdash.
With Babel had to do with the harvest being later, right? That's why we were waiting 60 days. So it wouldn't rain on the harvest. I remember from the
Right. That's what we said. We said what? We said something like that at the beginning of the Masechta. Okay, what happens? This is like the big theme of the Masechta. What happens if the 17th of Macheshvan came and it still didn't rain yet? The individuals, the pious people, start to fast. Gimel Taanis, 3 fasts. It's not Yom Kippur. You can do everything that was forbidden on Yom Kippur, except you can't eat during the day. It's just doesn't start the night before. They're allowed to do work. They're allowed to wash and put ointments on and put on the shoes, and they have marital relations. All of that is permissible. Yeresh Chodesh Kislev, when it becomes Kislev, it's another 12 days later. So Bezdin goes in Shalish Taanis Alatzibur. Now the community has to fast 3 fasts. The same story. They can eat during the day and at night. And all the 5 things that are forbidden in Yom Kippur are permissible. Not all 5. They're not allowed to eat and drink. Man Yechidim. Who are those individuals that you said start fasting already on the 17th of Cheshvan? Amar Rav Huna Rabbanan. It's the sages, it's the rabbis. They would start. Amar Rav Huna says, Yechidim Misanim Shleisha Tana Sheni Chamisha Sheni Chamishi Sheni. It's Bahab. Monday, Thursday, Monday. That's how they do the fast. My Kamashmalan, what is Rav Huna telling me? Tanina. I know that from a Mishnah. You never start the fast on a Thursday. I don't know why they didn't ask about Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I guess for other reasons. But you don't start a fast on a Thursday. The reason is because when people will go to the market to buy food for Shabbos, they're also hungry. And they're buying food for that night. They're going to buy so much that the prices are going to go up, and it's going to adjust the prices. So you send them to the market. No, don't go shopping when you're young. So we start to fast on a Monday. That way, people realize that it's a fast day. It's not because something's going on in the world and the supply or whatever. So that's the reason for that. So the Gemara now says, I could have thought that would only be an issue that the fast need to start on a Monday, not on a Thursday, because it would change the market prices. That's just if the community is fasting. Aval yachid loy, but not for individuals. They're not going to change the market price. Kamash Malan, it comes to teach us that even individuals, Rav Huna is telling us, those Yechidim also start their fast on a Monday and they don't start it on a Thursday. Tanya Nami Hachi was also taught in a Brisa. It's a Monday, Thursday, Monday. They stop on Rosh Chodesh, Yom Tovim, Taanis, and any other holidays that fall out on those days. They just skip those days. They can't fast on those holidays. And Megillas Taanis. Megillas Taanis was the manuscript of all the holidays. We had holidays. I forget which one. I don't have the Megillas Taanis. Who brought it last time? You brought it, Muftali. There were other holidays, holidays in Kislev and different things. Yeah. Taner Rabbanan. Or Rosh Chodesh. Taner Rabbanan was taught in a Brisa. Al Yemer Adam Talmud Ani. A person shouldn't say, I'm just a student. Any Raelius Yachid. I'm not eligible. I'm not worthy to be one of those Yachid. Shouldn't say that. Ela kol Talmid Chacham Yechidim. Every student, every Talmid Chachamim, student of the sages, right? That's why there's two versions of the Rambam. One of them says Talmid Chachamim instead of Talmid Chacham, and it means he's a student of sages. Talmid Chacham means he's a Chacham and he's also keeps learning. He's a Talmid and he's a Chacham. Otherwise, what does Talmid Chacham mean? But Talmid Chachamim means that he's a student of sages, right? That's what it sounds like, at least. So, any student of sages, here's Talmidei Chachamim. That's hard to translate. So, they're considered Yechidim. Any yeshiva bacher. Ezo Yachid. What's this Yachid? This individual. This Ezo Talmud, and who's a Talmud? Yachid kol shirayim noisi parnas al tzibur. And this Yachid is someone that could become a parnas. How do they translate parnas? A leader.
Appointed leader.
A leader of the community. It sounds like someone that you can ask a question in any area. Oh, yeah, but so he's supplying the community, right? But it sounds like he's a sage that he can answer all the people's questions. And the Talmud is whatever he's studying, he can answer in that topic. He doesn't know the whole Torah. He knows what he's studying. Even Masechta Kala. That could mean the Kala, could mean the drasha, that they had a drasha twice a year. Could mean that he knows that. Or Masechta Kala could mean that small Masechta that they printed in the back of Avodah Zarah. And over there they have the small Masechtas. Yeah, in the Vilna Shas. One of them is called Masechta Kala. Yeah, it says someone that marries a Bas Kohen is supposed to be a Talmid Chacham. So the Gemara says, who's a Talmid Chacham? Someone that knows the whole Torah, even Masechta Kala. So it became the custom that if you marry a daughter of a Kohen, that you learn Masechta Kala. Forget the rest of the Torah, but just at least Masechta Kala.
Does that apply to a Kohen too?
No, Kohen is.
He's supposed to marry a Bas Kohen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The women don't need to learn Masechta Kala. It's a man that's not a Kohen that marries a Bas Kohen. Taner Rabbanan. Yeah, you're fine. Okay. Taner Rabbanan was taught in Brisa like not every person that wants to be a yachid is supposed to be a yachid. It's considered like arrogant, starts putting on like the rabbinical garb and carries an umbrella around. No, kidding. In the olden days, that's what it was. My grandmother Mrs. Karbach. She said in Europe they said, "Why does a rabbi get paid? What does he do? Why does he get paid?" Yeah, I guess in olden days the rabbi would sit and study. That was so. Why does he get paid? It says he gets paid to wear a coat and carry an umbrella even in the summer. Yeah, he had to do that. That was the rabbinical garb. So okay.
Umbrella or a cane with a silver top?
Now it's switched to a cane with a silver top. It used to be an umbrella. Okay, so or Talmud Isa, but and not every person should be considered should behave like a yachid or like a Talmud. Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yossi says, Isa, let him do it. It's very nice. There's no praise in that. It's only suffering. It's going to have to act, behave differently. Let him do it. Go ahead. Say, go knock yourself out. You want it? Okay. Okay. Tanya Idach. Start in a brisa. Like color rates last that's miyach or Talmud Isa. That's like nor should he, right? Different Rab Shimon ben Elazar. Shimon ben Elazar is a Talmud of Reb Meir. So it matches perfectly that a person shouldn't do that. That was Reb Meir's opinion. And Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer, that I don't know how to match with Reb Yossi. Oh, there's another gersa there that it's Reb Yehuda. That's only if it's something of shvach. If it would be some sort of praise, then you shouldn't do it. But if it's just suffering, so then let him go do it. I think Rashi's saying that to be the yachid is tsar. To be the Talmud, not necessarily is tsar. That's what it looks like. Tana Rabbanan. Misha Yimasana al-Tzara. Someone's fasting because of some pain, some difficulty. Va'avra, and it passed. So it went away. Allah chayla v'nishrapa. Fasting for someone that was sick and they got healed, or Rashi adds in, or if they passed away, so they're not fasting anymore, or they don't want to fast anymore. You have to complete the fast. Yeah, yesterday we lost the car keys, so my daughter says I'm going to put money in the pushka, but if we don't find it, I'm taking it back. So my wife explained to her, no, that's not the way it's supposed to work. You have to give it. So here, what it looks like, I'm fasting until I get my result, and then I'm stopping when I don't need the result anymore. So that's you're not supposed to do that. That's this Gemara. If someone goes from a place that that they're not fasting to a place that they are fasting, you have to do what the community does, as in Rome. You go to a place that's not fasting, but your city is fasting, then you have to finish fasting. It doesn't get lenient on you because you went somewhere else. Let's say a person forgot, he ate and he drank, so he broke the fast. Don't go out and start eating in front of everyone. And you also shouldn't eat delicacies, pleasures. Yaakov tells his sons, don't, why are we being seen? Yaakov says to his sons, don't show yourself. Don't say that you're full, you're satisfied. You shouldn't make jealousy. So you shouldn't make everyone look at you. It's the basic concept of modesty.
This is the basis of the answer to the question you asked a few days ago. Somebody from Israel comes to the United States.
Oh.
What does he tell them? I think this is the basis.
Oh, they has to follow the community.
Privately, he continues.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Having mentioned Yaakov, the Gemara now continues. Don't fight on the road. What does it mean? That means don't get involved in halacha. You might lose the way. They're so involved in a conversation that they don't know where they're going. They get lost. To stay focused. You can't read the Rambam on the cell phone while you're driving. Unless you have a Tesla. Okay.
How does that fit what's going on with Yosef and the brothers? He said they're going to discuss whether they were correct in telling him or something.
Yeah, there was the argument between Yosef and the brothers if they're considered b'nei noyach, or if they're considered, remember, if they were allowed to eat the animal after it was shechted while it was still moving. If they're b'nei Yisrael, then they could eat it already. But if they're b'nei noyach, then it's still considered alive. If the shechita didn't kill it, that's the way the commentators explain it. So now they find Yosef. They say, okay, so who's correct?
When did he say that? Chronologically?
When he told them that he's Yosef.
Right then.
Then he said he sent him back to get the father. Don't fight on the road. Eini is at Sov. Amar Rabbi Loi bar Brachia. Shnei Talmid Chamsha Holchem Baderech. Rabbi Loi bar Brachia. He says, two Torah sages that are walking on the road. Vein b'nei divri Torah. They're not speaking Torah. Riyim li sarif should be burnt. Shnemar v'yiyem aholchem. Haylach b'dever b'nei rechavesh v'susayesh v'afrida ben shnayim. Yeah, where was this? Where did this happen? There was a horses of fire, chariots of fire separated between them. But time of the Kadibur was because they were speaking that they were protected. But if they weren't speaking Torah, they would have been burnt. Yeah.
But this is when Eliyahu went up to Shammai.
Why do we resort to this? We have a question that says,
oh. No, that's by sitting. Here's on the road.
Doesn't mean literally sitting.
No, but it doesn't mean on the road.
Oh, come on.
Here it's on the road.
This
But the Gemara
wasn't
says,
the Juba for Eliyahu and Rabbi when they came down to take him up.
is this where it was, Daniel? But they went down. Okay. So, like Kasha, the Migras Saliyuni. Depends what type of learning. If it's just reciting things that you can say by heart, or if it's delving into deep discussions. The Masnisa Tana on the Bryce, it says Al Tafsiu Psia Gasa. What he was telling them, they shouldn't take big steps. And don't come in, and you should come into the city while it's still day. Chama is the sun. Al Tafsiu Psia Gasa, Damar Psia Gasa, Nital Sechan Mechamish Meis Marain of Shaladam. Big steps take away 1/500th of a person's eyesight. The Gemara tells us somewhere else that the Kiddush on Friday night brings it back, something like that. And you should come into the city while it's still day. Like Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. Person should always leave the city when it's good, which is when the light out, and you should enter the city when it's light. Became morning and the men were sent. No, I think it's actually by the brothers. They left in the morning. The brothers of Yosef, I think. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Chia, Hamahalech Baderech. Someone that's on the road. This is Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav Chia. Someone that's on the road. Al Yochel Yesem Shnei Rabin. He should consider it like he's in a famine, and he shouldn't eat more than he would eat by a famine. During a time of a famine, which is he should minimize his when he's traveling. He shouldn't eat too much. They encourage that with the airline meals. Okay. My timer. Unless it's first class, yeah. My timer, I wouldn't know. Hacha tagimo mishum mayana. Over here, they say that it has to do with, over here means in Bavel, they say it has to do with the stomach pains. Maybe if he eats too much, it's going to affect his stomach. And but Maravam Amri Mishmazani in Eretz Yisrael, they said that it has to do with you don't want to run out of food. My Benayo, what's the difference? It could be Nayo Diyosev Ba'arba. He's on a boat. So he has the problem of running out of food, but maybe doesn't have the problem of eating too much. Maybe it's the opposite. Inami, the kazal me avna la avna. Or if he's going from inn to inn, so over there he doesn't have the problem of running out of food, but he does have the problem of traveling, and it could affect his stomach. Rav Papa, kol parsa chol chada rifta. Rav Papa, every parsa he would eat one loaf of bread. Rashi over here says that Rav Papa was very heavy. Like I said before, remember we said that? And too much food didn't bother him. He was accustomed to that. And the other pshat is that no, Rav Papa divided up the food into small portions. What's that diet when they eat every hour and there's a diet like that? It's good because it keeps the metabolism the whole. What is that? They eat a little bit every hour.
More frequent meals.
Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be a name for it. Someone has to make money on it. So, Kasava Mishamayana, he held that it had to do with the stomach, and there was no problem of running out of food. Shemayana, it sounds like from the Gemara that he was eating a lot and it didn't bother him. That's what it sounds like. Anyone that fasts, starves himself in days of famine is saved from crazy deaths. With hunger, you're redeemed from death. It should say that from the hunger you're redeemed from death, not with the hunger you're redeemed. With that reward, the person is saved from abnormal deaths. Person should not have marital relations during a famine. Yosef was born 2 sons before the famine came. That tells me that it was during the famine he wasn't going to have relations. Someone that doesn't have children is allowed to have relations because he didn't fulfill the mitzvah. Let me see if we can finish something else. No, let's leave it over here. Okay. Yeah. Good Yom Tov.
No, what we learned was really related to the